Good evening and welcome to another exciting action of Lake Orion Varsity Volleyball here. I am Sammy Terramina here, welcoming you all to the matchup between the Dragons of Lake Orion, ranked third in the state, coming into this matchup tonight, taking on the Blackhawks of Bloomfield Hills. Tonight's matchup, of course, will be featured on Orion Neighborhood Television, and of course those you can hear also on YouTube as well. Now, we have a very interesting matchup tonight. When you look at the matchup, no doubt, between the Dragons and the Blackhawks, these two teams have seen each other before this season in a tournament at Romeo. Of course, Lake Orion won that matchup in 2 games. But when you look at both teams on paper, this is a Dragon team that 10 of their 18 players on this team are seniors. And, of course, everything starts for the Dragons with their Miss Michigan volleyball candidate in Paige Briggs. So when you look at the Dragons, they do, besides Briggs, they do have a ton of experience as well. When you look at players like Gwen McCauley on this team, you look at others that have done, that can contribute right away, like players like Riley Hunter, Sierra Livingway, and Olivia Long, among others. You also have Kendall Robinson also that can contribute. But Lake Orion, when you look at the Dragons, one of the things that have been key on for the Dragons is, of course, for them having to stay healthy. Now, Lake Orion does have a couple of injuries. When you look at, of course, Sydney Smith was out with a ankle injury. She will be back sometime during the season for the Dragons. Now, when you look at the other side of things, Bloomfield Hills has had a really unique off-season. Of course, their former coach, Bob Hurdle, stepped down in July and entered to the fray head coach Larry Wyatt. Of course, Wyatt comes over to Bloomfield Hills from Royal Oak Shrine, and, of course, it's been an adjustment period for the Blackhawks. So when you look at the Blackhawks, it's a team that it could do some damage this year, but also having to go through a coaching transition from Hurdle to Wyatt, it's going to take some time to develop. But Bloomfield Hills does have some talent. When you look at, of course, players like number 5, Alexa Rousseau. Rousseau's getting a lot of looks from Division I colleges. Of course, Rousseau obviously is a setter, but also Bloomfield Hills' top player. Of course, wouldn't surprise me next year if she does get mentioned for Miss Volleyball next year for the Blackhawks. Now, Bloomfield Hills does have other players as well. When you look at, of course, Lily Formack, who is a middle blocker / outside hitter, she is going to be counted on for experience, and, of course, one of their top threats this year for Bloomfield Hills, along with Noelle Solik. And, of course, you have others in there for the Blackhawks as well. So, For Lake Orion, it's not going to be an easy matchup for them going in this matchup now. Lake Orion, of course, they do have 2 games coming up, which is going to be key for them, so they cannot overlook this Bloomfield Hills team tonight, despite the fact that they do hold a 15-9-1 record, and they are 0-2 in the red coming in. Of course, their losses were to Clarkson in 4. Of course, that was at Clarkson. They did win the first game 25-23. In that one, and then they lost in 4 to Rochester Adams at home. So it's gonna be key for Bloomfield Hills this year. It's gonna be key for Bloomfield Hills. You know, it's gonna be interesting to see because Bloomfield Hills has got their fair share of talent, and so does Lake Orion. That my keys to the game here tonight for both teams, of course, as I mentioned for Lake Orion, they cannot look ahead. And when you look at this team here, Lake Orion, of course, in the past has They've sometimes have played the level of their competition, but I think when I look at this team, this is a very different Lake Orion team when I see them. And then the other one for them, and the other one is stay healthy. Of course, Lake Orion, of course, is, you know, they got some injuries right now, of course, with the big one to Sydney Smith, and they cannot afford any other injuries heading into their next 2 games, especially because it's against Clarkston, it's against Stony Creek. Now, Bloomfield Hills, of course, it's a team that has a lot of experience on this team, of course. Now, this is not a senior-heavy team, but they do have a lot of experience under for Coach Larry Wyatt. So the talent there for Bloomfield Hills is not there at all. So when you look at what Bloomfield Hills has, of course, they're going to need to ride on Alexa Rousseau and, of course, their experienced players as well, like Lily Formack, and, of course, Caitlin Keel and Noelle Solik. If they can ride those 3 to go along with Rousseau, this is going to be very interesting tonight when you look at this matchup. No doubt about this. So when you look at both these teams, they are right now they are rolling right now. Of course, Bloomfield Hills, of course, Lake Orion rolling right now. Lake Orion rolling right now. When you look at the Dragons, this is a team that could do some damage not only in the regular season. They're one of the favorites in the OA Red, but also they could do some damage going forward. Now, Bloomfield Hills, the same thing. Now, when you look at Bloomfield Hills, yeah, they're off to an 0-2 start. But when you look at the Blackhawks, this is a team that can do some damage, especially come into playoff time. And the key for Bloomfield Hills is going to be to get them ready to go, especially in playoff time. Of course, they have Birmingham Marion in their district, which is never an easy thing here. Of course, the key tonight, the keys, as mentioned, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Lake Orion, of course, they have won 4 of their last 6 tournaments. Of course, they were in the finals for all 6 of their tournaments. And, of course, as mentioned earlier, Bloomfield Hills and Lake Orion have seen each other before at Romeo. Of course, the Dragons did win that one in 2 games. So we're gonna get on to you here, and we're gonna announce the national anthem here. We're gonna take a break here for the national anthem and introduce the starting lineups here on Orion Neighborhood Television, coverage of OAA Red volleyball action.
Hey, it's Owen TV here. Now, have you ever had the urge to create your own TV show? Or just wanted to see what goes behind the scenes of making one? Well, we have just the program for you. Owen TV offers production classes, which allow you to take control and create the programs you want them to be. To get started, all you have to do is sign up for a free orientation, and then register for one of our production courses. For more information, feel free to call us at 248-393-1060, or go to orionontv.org and click Register Now to sign up for classes. We hope to see you soon.
Welcome back to a exciting game of Lake Orion Varsity Volleyball here. Of course, I'm Sammy Taramina here. Of course, as they introduce the starting lineups, of course, tonight's game is brought to you by we'd like to say thanks to Jets Pizza. Larry Buss and the crew at Jets Pizza, located at 1091 South Lapeer Road, have been a proud sponsor of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics since 2009. Jet supplies catering for cast and crew. We thank you, Larry, for your continued support, and give them a call at 248-814-7559 for more information. As mentioned, of course, tonight's matchup, we mentioned it earlier in the pregame. If Lake Orion, they cannot look ahead to Thursday's game against Bloomfield Hills. They cannot look ahead to tonight's game with Bloomfield Hills. Of course, they have a big one Thursday against Clarkston at Clarkston, so that's going to be a really tough matchup. And then next week they play Stony Creek. Now, when you look at the red race right now, you got to look at obviously the 2 top challengers to Lake Orion is going to be Clarkston and Stony Creek. Stony Creek, of course, under Coach Ross Talbot, has really improved. Of course, last year, knocking off the Dragons at home last year. Of course, Talbot does know Lake Orion a little bit inside out because he previously coached the program at Lake Orion. And, of course, there's always Clarkson. Of course, Kelly Penner has done a really nice job with that team. They have 2 very good players, and, of course, Sincere Christian and Claire Nowicki. So those are going to be 2 challenges I think that await Lake Orion heading into the season. Now, when you look at the Dragons, they do have depth, which is going to be very important, especially if you want to make a run in the state championship. So that's going to be the key for Lake Orion. If they want to make a run, especially in the league, go deep in the playoffs, it is not an easy thing if you want to win a state championship this year. Now, Lake Orion does have the talent to do it, but it's not going to be an easy road. Now, Bloomfield Hills, on the other hand, of course, they do have talent as well. When you look at the Blackhawks, I think they can make a run as well. It all depends how they do against Birmingham Marion in that district. So that's going to be very interesting to see what Bloomfield Hills has going forward with the Blackhawks under first-year coach Larry Wyatt. So I'm going to be curious to see tonight how Bloomfield Hills has adjusted to Wyatt's system, considering that that he is now the guy over at Bloomfield Hills. And I think it's going to be key going forward to see what the Blackhawks have against a Dragon attack, especially where they have a lot of depth. Now, it's whoever makes the less mistakes will win this game. Of course, And I think that's going to be key. Whoever makes the fewest mistakes will win this game. And I think it's going to be a really, really interesting contest between the Blackhawks and the Dragons. Of course, they both teams getting ready to go for their for the matchup. Of course, Lake Orion in green tonight, and Bloomfield Hills wearing black tonight with purple trim. Lake Orion in the green with white trim. And we're going to get underway here shortly here. When you look at it here, of course, when you look at who won the toss, it looks like Bloomfield Hills won the toss to start the game. And it's going to be very interesting to see what both these teams have coming forward. Of course, when you look at Bloomfield Hills, their libero tonight is going to be number 4, Noelle Swick. Of course, Swick has a lot of experience as well. She is a junior. And, of course, Lake Orion's libero tonight will be Lauren Bell, number 11. And, of course, when you look at the Dragons, this is going to be very interesting, when you look at it, because I know Bell split some time with them Sierra Livingway at the libero spot, but Bell has really adjusted very well to the libero position. Now, Bloomfield Hills will serve first. Of course, serving for them, it's going to be number 6, which is Olivia Solinski. Of course, Solinski's going to be serving first for the Blackhawks. And we are underway here at Lake Orion High School now. Bell now back to McCauley. McCauley to Briggs. And Briggs gets the first point of the game for the Dragons. And Lake Orion is up 1-0. Paige Briggs, as mentioned, a Miss Volleyball candidate in the state of Michigan right now. Now Lauren Bell now serving for the Dragons. And Bell now gets it back. Here comes looking for Rousseau. And Rousseau gets that one to go, and Alexa Rousseau, as mentioned, she is going to be key for Bloomfield Hills in this matchup. And entering for Bloomfield Hills is Hannah Winter, along with number 3, which is Lily Formack. Now for Bloomfield Hills serving in a 1-1 game. Back to Bell. Bell to McCauley. McCauley looking for Briggs, and that one is spiked back by the combination of Rousseau and Formack, and Bloomfield Hills takes a 2-1 lead early. Of course, here comes the Blackhawks. Now Winter serving, and Winter gets a good one off Bell now. Back to Briggs. Briggs now. Here comes Bloomfield Hills. Bloomfield Hills to Rousseau, and no. Here comes Bloomfield Hills trying to get that back. Back to McCauley. McCauley now cannot get that outside now, and here comes Bloomfield Hills again with Rousseau, and almost a miscommunication, and it is a miscommunication there from the Dragon side of things. Point to the Blackhawks. It's 3-1, Bloomfield Hills. Winter now serving again for Bloomfield Hills for the Blackhawks. Right now, up by 2 right now, early on. Winter now serving. Bell gets it back. McCauley looking for number 13, which is Leah Bogues, and no. Bell now gets it back to McCauley. McCauley's looking for Briggs. And Briggs gets that one, but nice tip by Sillick. Sillick to Rousseau. And no. McCauley now sets it, looking for Briggs. And Briggs hits the one out. And Bloomfield Hills up 4-1 early. Lake Orion making some early mistakes. Making some unforced errors early on. Winter now serving again for Bloomfield Hills. And back to Bell. Bell sets to McCauley. McCauley turns it, and she's going to get the point. The Bloomfield Hills could not get it over the net, and it's 4-2 in favor of the Blackhawks. McCauley now serving for the Dragons right now, up 4-2, down 4-2. And McCauley serves one out, and it's going to be a point to the Blackhawks, and it's 5-2 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. And serving for Bloomfield Hills will be Ava Petrucci, a freshman, serving for the Blackhawks, up 5-2 right now. Petrucci now gets it, and Bell gets it back now. Back to McCauley. McCauley to Bogues. And no, Bloomfield Hills gets that one back. Here's Rousseau, and Rousseau cannot get that one down. Back to Briggs. Briggs now gets the point for the Dragons, and it's 5-3 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Out of the game for Lake Orion will be number 9, which is Olivia Long. Of course, Long is a senior. Paige Briggs is serving for the Dragons. Now Briggs is going to be serving now. Of course, Select gets that one. He's looking for Rousseau, and that one is in. And a kill for Alexa Rousseau. Alexa Rousseau has a lot of experience when you look at she is obviously Bloomfield Hills' top player when you look at what Rousseau can bring. She has a lot in the tank. Rousseau now serving, and she's going to get an ace out of that one. Alexa Rousseau showing why she is a future possible Division I talent when you look at Alexa Rousseau. And Bloomfield Hills right now up 7-3 early on Lake Orion. Rousseau now serving, and she gets another ace. Alexa Rousseau right now taking over, and Lake Orion needs to talk it over early. This is one thing Lake Orion cannot afford early on, and right now they are letting Alexa Rousseau take control of the game, and you can't do that. You can't do that, especially because it's going to give Bloomfield Hills confidence going forward. And right now, it's a good strategy right now with Rousseau getting 2 aces, and I think it's a good timeout by Tony Scavarda to calm his team down. And right now, it looks like, Lake Orion's struggling early on. They are struggling early on. And right now, it looks like right now, Bloomfield Hills right now is the aggressor. Rousseau now back to serve for Bloomfield Hills, now up by 5, 8-3. Here is Rousseau now. Rousseau back to Briggs. Briggs to McCauley. McCauley back to Briggs, and that is a out. Unforced errors killing the Dragons right now. 9-3 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Unforced errors. And now Rousseau back to serve for the Blackhawks here. And Rousseau now serving, and nice save by Bell. Bell now, and another out for the Dragons, and it's 10-3 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Rousseau right now controlling the game, but I think Lake Orion making a lot of mistakes. That's not good. Rousseau back serving, saved by Bell. Back to McCauley. McCauley looking deep. No. Here comes the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks back now. No. Here come the Dragons again. Bell now. Bell looking for Devendorf, and Devendorf will get that point. And Lake Orion, actually take that back, as Cindy Gruppenhoff that got the point for the Dragons. And Lake Orion now down 10-4 with serving for the Dragons is Annika Devendorf, number 3. So Devendorf now serving, and it is tipped by Bloomfield Hills. Now here come the Blackhawks, and number 6, Ava Zielinski hits the net, and it's 10-5 in favor of the Blackhawks. Now Devendorf now serving again for the Dragons here, needing a run right now. Here come the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks now, and that is going to be a point for Bloomfield Hills. Olivia Zielinski gets that point for Bloomfield Hills, and that's a big point for the Blackhawks. It's 11-5, Bloomfield Hills. And for Bloomfield Hills is Mackenzie Gooder, number 10, playing that middle. So, from serving right now, here comes Bell. Bell now looking, and a kill for the Dragons, made by number 9, Olivia Long. And the Dragons trail 11-6. That was a good kill there, right there by Long. It was a good kill for her. And that's going to need some confidence right there. And the unforced errors again. The unforced errors. And Lake Orion down 12-6. They're making a lot of mental mistakes right now when you look at this matchup here. They're making a lot of mental mistakes. It's not a good sign. Bloomfield Hills now serving again. Now there's McCauley. McCauley looking for Long, and she gets that one to go down. Olivia Long getting the points. And entering the game for Lake Orion is number 1. That is Sierra Livingway. Of course, Livingway is going to serve for Lake Orion down by 5. Livingway now serves. Back now. Here's Rousseau. Rousseau back, and it is a out. And the Dragons are now only down 4, 12-8. Livingway now serving for the Dragons. And back now, and that's going to be a point for the Dragons by Sierra Livingway. Of course, making the play was number 6, Ava, with Olivia Zielinski course, that's who Living Way's attacking right now, it looks like. Now Rousseau looking, and it's a block in the net by Macaulay and Kendall Robinson. Robinson, of course, Lake Orion girls basketball standout as well. Now it's 12-10, and Larry Wyatt wants to talk it over. Timeout, Bloomfield Hills, as they are only up by 2, 12-10. Now, when you look at this matchup, of course, Bloomfield Hills, early start, good start. Now, Lake Orion starting to get back in this match a little bit. Of course, I think with Sierra Livingway serving early on, I think right now, Lake Orion starting to get their act together a little bit here when you look at the Dragons. Basically, right now, just with surviving the storm, as they call with Bloomfield Hills right now. Bloomfield Hills had a nice start, but Lake Orion seemed to work their way back into it. And now it's Livingway now back serving again for the Dragons, down by 2, 12-10. Livingway now serving. Here's Rousseau. Rousseau saves it. And Bloomfield Hills now gets it back. Livingway now gets to Macaulay. Macaulay looking for Robinson. And it is a side out. It is a side out, and Bloomfield Hills gets the point at 13-10. It is 13-10 Bloomfield Hills. Right now, here's the Blackhawks serving again. Here's Livingway. Livingway to Macaulay. Macaulay looking for Briggs, and no. Saved there by the Blackhawks. And Briggs saves that one to Macaulay. Macaulay now looking back. No, the group hop, no. Sozinski back to Rousseau, no. And Macaulay to Robinson, and she does not get the, it's a side out, and it's a point to Bloomfield Hills, and the Blackhawks lead is 14-10. Blackhawks serving again, and it's a out. Serving that one for Bloomfield Hills was number 6, which was Olivia Sozinski. Now Lauren Bell back serving for the Dragons, down by 3, 14-11. Now here's Briggs, and Briggs gets that one to go. Paige Briggs gets that one right through the middle of Bloomfield Hills' defense, and it is a 14-12 Blackhawk lead. Bell now serving again now for the Dragons now. Bell now, and saved by Rousseau. And now here comes Bloomfield Hills now, and that is going to be an out, and it's a 1-point game, 14-13. Bloomfield Hills with the 1-point lead. Now Bell back serving again, and Bell now saved by Sillick. Active Bloomfield Hills, can't get it down now. Here's Macaulay, and it's a carry violation. It's a double hit, and that's a point to Bloomfield Hills. It is 15-13 in favor of the Blackhawks. Hannah Winter coming back in for Bloomfield Hills. Of course, Winter will be serving for the Blackhawks. Winter now serving, and it's a good one to Bell. Bell now, and it's going to be a point to Bloomfield Hills, and the Blackhawks have regained a 3-point lead, 16-13. Winter now serving again for the Blackhawks, and back to Livingway. Livingway looking for Briggs, and Briggs gets that one to go. Paige Briggs. She gets that one, and she finds that soft spot in the Blackhawk defense, and it's 16-14. Now Ren Macaulay now serving for the Dragons, down by 2. Macaulay with a spike serve, and she gets the ace to go down. Win Macaulay gets the ace, and it's a 1-point game, 16-15, in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Macaulay now serving again. Macaulay gets another one, and it's back by Bloomfield Hills now. Here's Swillick, and Lake Orion thought of his carry, but refs did not see it. Now Briggs now, and Briggs gets the point for the Dragons, and we are all tied up at 16 apiece. Lake Orion has found a way to, Lake Orion has came all the way back to tie the score up at 16. It was rocky start early. Macaulay now serving. Here comes Rousseau, and Briggs gets that one to go, but can't get that one down. Here comes Livingway to Macaulay, 2, and it cannot go down. Here comes the Blackhawks, and Stay by Livingway. Livingway played McCauley. Here's Briggs. Briggs now. Stay by Winter. Winter to Sosinski. To Rousseau. No. Here comes McCauley. McCauley to Briggs. And Briggs gets that one to go with authority. Paige Briggs. And Lake Orion leads 17-16. McCauley now serving for the Dragons. McCauley now serving, and McCauley gets it almost to the net now, but here comes Bloomfield Hills, and it's going to be a net violation. And number 3, Lily Formack tried to get that thing the ball over, but could not get it over. And Lake Orion now leads 18-16 over the Blackhawks. McCauley now serving for the Dragons again. And here's Briggs, and Paige Briggs gets that one to go. And the Dragons are on a run right now. Timeout, Bloomfield Hills. As I mentioned with Paige Briggs, of course, she is going to Western Kentucky next year. Of course, Paige Briggs is a very interesting story, transferring into Lake Orion from Oxford last year. Of course, she had a knee injury that kept her out. She had an injury that kept her out most of last year. So Briggs right now making up for some lost time this in her senior season. But right now, Briggs right now trying to be the difference maker for this Lake Orion attack. For Bloomfield Hills, they have got to stop the bleeding right now when you look at it here. Of course, the Blackhawks had a big lead early on, but the Dragons have muscled their way back. And right now, Lake Orion right now seems to be starting to gain control and some confidence in this matchup. Wayne McCauley now serving back for the Dragons. Right now up by 3. And McCauley's going to serve. And she serves it out. And Bloomfield Hills gets the point back. And now serving for the Blackhawks will be number 15, Ava Petrucci. Only a freshman. But she's done very well early on for Bloomfield Hills. And she gets a good serve off. Here comes McCauley. McCauley to Briggs, and Briggs gets that one down. Paige Briggs makes it 2017, Lake Orion. Now you look at Briggs now serving for the Dragons. And Briggs now going to serve, and she gets it up. Here comes Rousseau, and no. Rousseau had it blocked in the middle by number 13, Leah Bogues, and number 9, Olivia Long. It makes it 21-17, Lake Orion. Briggs now serving again, and Briggs gets an ace off Rousseau, and it's 22-17 in favor of the Dragons. Briggs now serving again for the Dragons here, up by 5. And Briggs looking for that soft spot, cannot get it now. Winter now gets it up for Bloomfield Hills. Bell now gets it to McCauley. McCauley looking for Long, and Olivia Long gets that one to go. And the Dragons now up 23-17. Now Briggs back serving again for the Dragons, and Briggs will serve that one, and she does not get that to go. And it's a point to the Blackhawks, and it's 23-18 with Alexa Rousseau serving for the Blackhawks. Rousseau now serving, and she hits the net, and it's 24-18 Lake Orion. Game point for the Dragons. In for the Dragons, of course, is Annika Devendorf. Devendorf now serving for the Dragons for the first set here. And Devendorf will get the ace, and that is game point for Lake Orion, and the Dragons will take game one, 25-18. Of course, that was a good set for Lake Orion to start off the game. The LHS Dragon Broadcast Program and the Orion Neighborhood Television have teamed up to bring you live broadcasts of several LHS games and events throughout the school year. That includes all the varsity football games, weather permitting, and several varsity volleyball matches this fall. If you are unable to be in attendance, you can watch many games and events online. Subscription costs less than $10 per month, and half the money goes back to the LOHS Broadcast Program. It's a great option for friends and family who might not live in the area. Check out the live stream of Dragon Sports at www.dragonbroadcasting.org ONTV thanks our student crews for their hard work and dedication to bringing Dragon sports to the world. You got to look at, of course, this first game. I thought early on it was dominated by Bloomfield Hills. Of course, the Blackhawks with their talent, of course, led by Alexa Rousseau, but Lake Orion basically outworked, got back into it, and then ended up taking control in the middle to the end of the first set, and right now holds a 1-0 lead on Bloomfield Hills. So when I look at Lake Orion now, it's the slow starts, you know what I mean? That bothered that affected this team early on, but they managed to put it together early on, and I think it comes to credit to the players of the Lake Orion Dragons early on. So when you look at Lake Orion now, of course, in the second game, they're going to be having the ball to start game number 2. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with them going forward now. If you look at the team, the schedule coming up for the Dragons, as mentioned, they have to play Clarkston on Thursday in Clarkston. That's going to be a tough matchup there. And then, of course, they have to play Stony Creek next Tuesday here at the field house. So it's not going to be an easy 2 games coming up for the Dragons. If they want to win the OA Red this year outright, they got to go through Clarkston. They got to go through Stony Creek. They also got to play teams like Troy, who's very good, of course, led by their Miss Volleyball candidate Jessica Robinson, and then of course they have Adams, who is well improved, getting better under Coach Bridget Harding. And you look at the Dragons right now, everything looks smooth right now for them right now, the way they're playing, but they've got to address the slow starts in this match early on. And I think, when you look at Lake Orion, that's the only downside that they have early on was the slow starts. But Lake Orion picked it up late. As we start game number 2 here, for Bloomfield Hills, of course, the libero always comes out last, and that'll be Noelle Solik for the Blackhawks. And for the Dragons, it'll be Lauren Bell. And Bloomfield Hills, I think when you look at what Bloomfield Hills, I think kind of a little bit their inexperience kind of showed early in the middle to the late part of the games. I think the Dragons' senior experience was the difference in that first game. Now, serving for Lake Orion is going to be Sierra Livingway. Of course, Livingway's had some good serves early in this game. She got Lake Orion back in this game with her serving. Now, Rousseau now gets it back deep, and a kill for the Blackhawks. Number 15, Ava Petrucci, a freshman. And there's a lot of high optimism surrounding Petrucci. Very talented freshman for Bloomfield Hills. Blackhawks lead 1-0, and a side out by Olivia Sozinski. And it's 1-1 now. Lauren Bell now serving for Lake Orion in a 1-1 game. And Bell now serving, and here come the Blackhawks to Petrucci, and Petrucci gets that one to go. An assist there by Olivia Sozinski makes it 2-1 Bloomfield Hills. Hannah Winter now serving for Bloomfield Hills, of course, up 2-1 on the Lake Orion right now. And an ace given by Winter, and Bloomfield Hills up to a 3-1 lead. Very similar to the first game. Very similar. Bloomfield Hills has a strong start early on. Winter now serving, blocked by Bell to McCauley. McCauley to Briggs, and Briggs gets a tip in there, and Lake Orion now trails Bloomfield Hills 3-2. Now when McCauley now serving in that one, of course, now McCauley will serve for Lake Orion, trailing by 1, 3-2. Looks like a question to the official, the scores table. McCauley now serving for Lake Orion, and McCauley now gets it, and a point to the Dragons, and that's made by number 13, Leah Bogues, and Lake Orion has tied the score 3-3 with Bloomfield Hills. McCauley now back serving for the Dragons. McCauley gets an ace. When McCauley gets an ace for the Dragons, and Lake Orion now takes a 4-3 lead. Macaulay, of course, a senior as well. So Macaulay, of course, a 4-year senior. Macaulay now serving again and saved there by the Blackhawks. Back to Petrucci. No. Macaulay now looking for Briggs. Briggs now gets that one to go. Paige Briggs playing with energy tonight. Paige Briggs playing well for the Dragons. It's 5-3, Lake Orion. Macaulay now going to serve again for the Dragons, up by 2 on the Blackhawks here. Macaulay gets that power serve to go. Back to Szynski. Szynski to Rousseau, saved by Macaulay. DeBell now gets it to Briggs. And Winter saves it. And a tip by Szynski, no. Macaulay to Bell. Bell to Briggs, and saved by Winter. Winter to Szynski to Rousseau, who tips it. And now here comes Macaulay, and Macaulay saved by Winter. Winter now looking for Petrucci, and no. Bell now, looking deep for, and a side out for, and it's a point to the Blackhawks. And Bloomfield Hills only down 5-4. Petrucci now serving for Bloomfield Hills. And Petrucci now serving, and she hits the net. It is, and now you bring back for Bloomfield Hills is Noelle Selleck. She's back for Lake Orion. Entering the game is number 9, Olivia Long. Now Paige Briggs is serving for Lake Orion. Of course, right now up 6-4. Briggs now serving, saved by Selleck. Here comes Bloomfield Hills, and a side out. And it's a point to Lake Orion, and it's 7-4 in favor of the Dragons. Briggs now serving for the Dragons, and saved there by Silk. Silk now to Szynski. Szynski to Rousseau, saved by Bell. Bell now to, can't get that in now. Here comes Szynski. Szynski looking for Peru. Actually, that's number 18, Brooke Bossart. And Bossart gets that point for Bloomfield Hills. And the Blackhawks have cut the lead to 7-5. And Bloomfield Hills coach Larry Wyatt is not happy with something, but don't know what. But it's 7-5 in favor of the Dragons with Rousseau serving. Macaulay now looking. And a kill for the Dragons, number 13, Leah Bogues. And Bogues gets that point for the Dragons. It's 8-5 in favor of Lake Orion. Annika Devendorf enters the Dragon lineup. Of course, she's going to be serving now for the Dragons. Up by 3 right now. Devendorf now serving for the Dragons, and she gets a good one in there. Rousseau saves it, and Szynski cannot get it over, and it's a point to the Dragons, and Lake Orion's up 9-5. And Bloomfield Hills wants to talk it over. Timeout for the Blackhawks. And Bloomfield Hills right now, they're struggling right now when you look at it. And you look at Lake Orion, you know, if you can't afford to make mistakes against a very good Lake Orion team, and, you know, when you look at it right now, Bloomfield Hills, I know they're a very young team, but they got a lot of experience. I mean, that's the thing. When you look at the Blackhawks, they have a ton of experience. You know, but right now, Bloomfield Hills, right now, making some mental mistakes. And when you look at it, you know, when you look at the timeouts, you know what I mean? It looks like there was 2 different timeouts there. Now Lake Orion now getting back into play now. Devendorf serving for the Dragons. Right now up 9-5. Devendorf now saved the rest of Szynski to Rousseau. And Bossart, and a net via at 4 hits. And it's a point to Lake Orion, and it's 10-5 in favor of the Dragons. Devendorf now serving again for the Dragons there, and here come the Blackhawks. Rousseau looking, and it's a block. Blocked there by number 21, which is Reagan Goki, only a sophomore. And Lake Orion up 11-5. Devendorf now serving, saved by Winter to Rousseau. Winter now. Here comes the Dragons. Macaulay to Groki, and she kills that one in the middle. And Lake Orion up 12-5. And the Dragons look like they're taking control right now early on. Devendorf serving now. Winner now saves it. Here come the Blackhawks. Bossart saved by Briggs. McCauley. And Briggs gets the ball back. Saved there by Rousseau. Selleck now to Rousseau. And a double hit is count against Bloomfield Hills. And a point to Lake Orion, 13-5 in favor of the Dragons. Devendorf now serving for the Dragons again. And Devendorf hits it out. And Bloomfield Hills gets that point back. And it's 13-6. Bogues back in for the Dragons, and for the Blackhawks, back in is Mackenzie Gutler, only a sophomore. Now Noel Sillick serving for the Blackhawks. Now McCauley looking, cannot get it for cannot get that. Now here comes Rousseau. Rousseau saved by Briggs. McCauley to Groki, and Groki gets that one to go down. It's a point to the Dragons, 14-6 Lake Orion. Lake Orion's starting to control things a little bit here. They are starting to control tempo and everything right now. Here comes Rousseau. Rousseau looking for Bossart, saved by Briggs to McCauley. McCauley gets that one to go, and Wynn McCauley makes it 15-6 in favor of Lake Orion. Serving for the Dragons, of course, right now is Cindy Gruppenhoff. And a miscommunication there by the Blackhawks makes the score 16-6 in favor of Lake Orion. And Gruppenhoff serving again for the Dragons right now, up by 10 right now. Here comes Rousseau. Now Rousseau, what a smart decision there by Rousseau. Knowing that the everybody thought Rousseau was going to be setting it, but instead Rousseau gets it over the net and in for a point. So it's 16-7 in favor of Lake Orion. And now Bossart now serving for the Blackhawks, saved by Bell. Bell to McCauley to Groki, no, and it's a violation against the Dragons and a point to the Blackhawks, and Bloomfield Hills is now trailing 16-8. Bossart now serving again for Bloomfield Hills, and Bossart saved by Bell to McCauley and to Olivia Long, and Long gets that one to go. Olivia Long gets that one to go, and Sierra Livingway enters back for Lake Orion. Lake Orion right now up by 9. Here comes McCauley. McCauley now serving, and looked like it was a carry there, but it wasn't. And McCauley, though, gets the point anyway for Lake Orion, and it's 18-8 in favor of the Dragons. And Larry Wyatt takes a second charge timeout. When you look at this matchup, Lake Orion looks like to be they are the aggressors right now in the second game right now. And it's showing right now a little bit here. It is showing right now with Lake Orion. Of course, there's a reason why they're one of the top teams in the state of Michigan right now, is because they have a trust in each other. They believe in a system that they're running, and got to give credit to the players and also the coaching staff. You got to give credit to Tony Scavarda, who has done a very nice job with this program. So it'll be very interesting to see, but also what helps is you have 10 of the 18 players on the Dragons are seniors. So they've been through it all. Livingway serving for the Dragons, up 18-8. Livingway going to serve, and she does serve it. Here comes Rousseau. Rousseau looking for Petrucci, and a block by a combination of Wynn McCauley and Reagan Goki makes it a 19-8 Lake Orion lead. Livingway serving again. Saved by Bossart to Rousseau. And save again there. Here comes Bloomfield Hills now. Can't get that down. Here comes McCauley. McCauley to Briggs! And Paige Briggs gets that one down with authority. It's 20-8 in favor of Lake Orion. Paige Briggs showing why she is a Western Kentucky commit. And a net violation there by Livingway makes it 20-9 in favor of Lake Orion. Serving for the Blackhawks is Olivia Sozinski. Of course, Sozinski now gets that one. And a block there by McCauley. Back to Rousseau. And here's McCauley. McCauley to Groke, and she gets that one to go. And it's 21-9 Lake Orion. Dragon Faithful going nuts right now. Up 21-9. Bell now serving for the Dragons, and saved there by the Blackhawks. Here's Rousseau, and it's a side out to the Dragon bench. It's 22-9 in favor of Lake Orion. Lauren Bell serving for the Dragons. Bell now serving. Saved by Silic. Back to Sozinski. Back to Petrucci, and it's not going to be enough. And it would have been a crazy save, but it's a point to Bloomfield Hills. And now Hannah Winter serving for the Blackhawks, but that was a good effort by the Dragons defense. Winter now serving. Here's McCauley. McCauley, almost a mishap there, but Petrucci, but it was deflected by McCauley, and the Dragons now up 23-10, and Swick back into the game for Bloomfield Hills. McCauley now serving for Lake Orion, of course, right now up 23-10 on Bloomfield Hills. McCauley, tipped by Sozinski. Now McCauley back to Briggs, and Briggs hits the net. Point to the Blackhawks, 23-11 in favor of Lake Orion. Now Brooke Bossart back in for Bloomfield Hills. Of course, Bloomfield Hills is a junior-heavy team when you look at the Blackhawks. Now serving is Petrucci, and it was tipped by Livingway. Now to McCauley, and McCauley gets that one to go, and it's 24-11 in favor of Lake Orion. I know it's a sign it's a young team that Bloomfield Hills has. I mean, but, you got to get that. It's 24-11. Briggs now serving there. And to Rousseau, no. Here comes McCauley. McCauley to Gruppenhoff, and that's going to be game for the Dragons, and Lake Orion wins game 2, 25-11. Ride in the Oaks for Holy Spokes. ONTV is gearing up for its first annual Ride in the Oaks for Holy Spokes on Sunday, October 7th. It is $40 per team with a max of 5 people per team, or $20 per individual. All proceeds benefit Holy Spokes of Lake Orion. Register by September 21st and get a t-shirt with your registration. Registration forms are available at www.orionontv.org. For more information, call 248-693-3377. DVD copies, you can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Be sure to tune in to replays from your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. for most current games on our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check out our program guide on our webpage at orionontv.org for replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. Also visit our YouTube link for games on demand, www.orionontv.org. ONTV is getting ready to launch our brand new internet radio station. You can create your own podcast, radio show, or sign up to become a DJ. For more information on the radio station, give us a call at 248-693-3377 or 248-693-1060. Of course, yours truly does have a podcast as well. Of course, you can also watch my podcast, OAA Now, course, it covers both these two teams here, Lake Orion and Bloomfield Hills, both teams being in the Oakland Activities Association as well. When I look at Game 3, when I look at both these teams, of course, Bloomfield Hills is a very young team, and it's going to take some time for them to adjust to Larry Wyatt's system. It's going to take some time to adjust, and for Lake Orion right now, experience right now benefiting them. You know, right now they're benefiting from the experience right now, and for Bloomfield Hills, you know, it's going to take some time to adjust to Wyatt's system, you know, and it's showing in these two games. You know what I mean? That Bloomfield Hills right now, still they're a work in progress right now when you look at the Blackhawks under Coach Larry Wyatt and his team. But for Lake Orion, it looks like right now they are starting to go into mid-season form. But as mentioned, they still have some issues a little bit with their slow starts. So looking forward to their third game. Look forward to the Game 3 here. Of course, Bloomfield Hills will be serving first in this third game here. Lake Orion right now up 2-0 on Bloomfield Hills. And serving for the Blackhawks, and of course Bloomfield Hills, of course, for the Dragons, their libero Lauren Bell back in. For Bloomfield Hills, their libero, of course, Noelle Silk back in. And serving for Bloomfield Hills looks like it's going to be Olivia Solinski serving for Bloomfield Hills. And we are underway in game number 3. Briggs now, Slivingway now gets it now to McCauley. McCauley to Briggs, and Briggs saved by Rousseau. Rousseau sets it to Petrucci, and it is going to be a point to Bloomfield Hills because one of the Dragon players hit the net. It is 1-0 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Now, Bloomfield Hills has had a 1-0 lead to start all 3 games so far in this one. Bloomfield Hills now. Bell now gets it to McCauley to Briggs, and Briggs saved there by Solinski. Bell now saves it to McCauley. McCauley's IQ was a difference there in that one. 1-1. I mean, she knew where it was, and then she got that one to go. 1-1 now with Lauren Bell serving. Rousseau now gets it. Here comes Rousseau, and save there for the Dragons, Livingway. McCauley now gets it to the Bloomfield zone. Here comes Rousseau, and Alexa Rousseau gets that one to go down, and it's 2-1 Blackhawks. Alexa Rousseau wouldn't surprise me next year if she is in the conversation for Miss Volleyball in the state of Michigan. She is that good of an athlete. Hannah Winter now serving for Bloomfield Hills now. Saved by Livingway. Livingway to Briggs. Actually, McCauley to Briggs. Saved by Bloomfield Hills now. And you look at now, Briggs now saves it to McCauley. McCauley to Bell. And another communication error for Bloomfield Hills. They let that one go in. It's 2-2 now. Wynn McCauley now serving for the Dragons in a 2-2 game right now. McCauley now getting ready to serve that one now. McCauley now serves it, and saved by the Blackhawks, but it's a point to Lake Orion. It's 3-2 in favor of the Dragons. It's 3-2 right now in favor of Lake Orion now. Here comes McCauley now. McCauley's going to serve this one. And McCauley gets that one to go, and here come and it's a double hit. Point to Lake Orion, 4-2 in favor of the Dragons. And it's showing right now, of course, Lake Orion, Bloomfield Hills making some mistakes right now early on. McCauley now, and it's going to be a point to Bloomfield Hills. It is a side-out point to the Blackhawks, and here comes Brooke Bossart back in for the Blackhawks right now. 4-3 in favor of Lake Orion. Of course, Ava Petrucci serving for Bloomfield Hills. Here comes McCauley. McCauley to Briggs, and saved there by Bloomfield Hills. It was a good save there. Here comes Briggs, and Briggs will get that one to go. Paige Briggs. Paige Briggs gets that one to go. It was a nice save there by Bloomfield Hills' defense. In the game for Lake Orion is number 8, Riley Hunter. Now, Riley Hunter, interesting story with her, of course, last year, making an impact last year, especially against Clarkston. Here's Bossart, saved by McCauley, and it's going to be a point to Bloomfield Hills there. Look, that was a very unusual play there for in that one, but a point nonetheless to the Blackhawks. It's 5-4 in favor of the Dragons, and Alexa Rousseau is serving for the Blackhawks. Rousseau now serving, saved by Briggs to McCauley, and to Reagan Grokey, and that's going to be out, and a point to the Blackhawks, and we are all tied up at 5. 5-5 right now. Rousseau serving. Rousseau now gets it back, and it's a save by McCauley. Here comes Bloomfield Hills, saved by Rousseau. By Silk to Rousseau, no. Here come the Dragons. The Dragons looking to Riley Hunter, and it's going to be a point to the Blackhawks as she hit the red out of bounds line, and it is right now 6-5 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Rousseau now serving for the Blackhawks. Rousseau now gives it to Bell. Bell to McCauley, and it's a double hit against Wynn McCauley, and it's 7-5 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Rousseau now serving for the Blackhawks. She has served the last 3 points for Bloomfield Hills. Rousseau saved by Bell, and Rousseau gets an ace. And it's 8-5 in favor of the Blackhawks. And Alexa Rousseau showing what she can bring to the party right now. Only up by 3. Rousseau gets an ace. And Alexa Rousseau is taking this game over. 9-5 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Alexa Rousseau showing why she could be a Miss Volleyball candidate next season. Rousseau now gets it to McCauley. McCauley to Grok. No. Here come the Blackhawks. Silk to Rousseau. And Rousseau hits the net. And it's 9-6 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Annika Devendorf back in for the Dragons along with Kendall Robertson. Of course, when you look at, right now, Bloomfield Hills, here's Devendorf now. Back to Rousseau. Rousseau to Bossart, but Robinson gets that one down. She blocked that one and gets that one down. 9-7 in favor of the Blackhawks. Devendorf now serving again for the Dragons here. Saved by Silk to Rousseau. Rousseau and a kill by Olivia Sozinski. 10-7, Bloomfield Hills. That was a good set there by Bloomfield Hills. Really good set there. Of course, Rousseau setting it to Sozinski for the point. Briggs now saves it to Robertson. No. And communication again, an issue for the Blackhawks. And a point to the Dragons makes it a 10-6, 10-8 game in favor of the Blackhawks. Serving for the Dragons, it looks like it is Olivia Irwin serving for Lake Orion. Here's Rousseau, and Robertson blocked that one down. Kendall Robertson. Well, it looks like they're going to call a carry on that one, and it's a point to Bloomfield Hills. And it's right now 11-8 in favor of the Blackhawks. Bossart now serving to Briggs. Briggs to Irwin. Back to Rousseau. Back to Sozinski. No. Here comes McCauley. Here is Rousseau. And Rousseau gets that point to go down. And it's right now it looks like it's 12-8 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Bossart now serving for the Blackhawks. Back to McCauley. McCauley to Briggs, no. And Briggs gets the point anyway. And it's 12-9 in favor of the Blackhawks. Sierra Livingway back in for Riley Hunter. When you look at it here comes Livingway. Livingway serving for the Dragons. Down 3. Here comes Rousseau. And that's going to be an out. Point to the Dragons. Lake Orion down 2, 12-10. Here comes Livingway now. Livingway serving to Rousseau. And a kill for the Blackhawks, number 15, Ava Petrucci. She gets that one to go, and it's 13-10, Bloomfield Hills. Blackhawks playing much better here in game 3. Livingway now looking for Briggs. And a block by Alexa Rousseau, and it's 14-10, Bloomfield Hills. The Blackhawks starting to get it together a little bit here in this third set. Here come the Blackhawks, McCauley to Briggs, and it's a point to Bloomfield Hills, and the Blackhawks have increased their lead to 15-10. Combination of mistakes, and Bloomfield Hills playing well right now. Sozinski serving, here's Briggs to McCauley, and McCauley reads that one with their instinct, and it's 15-11 in favor of, Bloomfield Hills. Bell now serving to Sozinski, and it's a side out, and it's 15-12 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Bell now serving. Here is Sozinski. Back to, here come the Blackhawks again. Sozinski to Rousseau. Cannot get it down. McCauley now. Bell saves it. McCauley now gets it back. Here come the Blackhawks. Blackhawks to Petrucci. And Ava Petrucci gets that one to go. 16-12, Bloomfield Hills. Hannah Winter now re-enters the Bloomfield Hills lineup. Ava Petrucci playing very well right now. Only a freshman. She's going to get a lot better in the near future. She's going to be a talent to keep an eye on. McCauley to Briggs. Paige Briggs gets that one to go with authority, and it's 16-13 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Sydney Gruppenhop now back in for the Dragons. Wynn McCauley serving for Lake Orion. And McCauley gets that one to go off the net and into that corner. It's 16-14 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. McCauley read that one very perfectly now. McCauley now getting ready to serve. McCauley serves it and gets an ace out of it. 16-15 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. McCauley gonna serve here. Here's McCauley now. She is getting ready to serve here, and she hits the net. 17-15 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. And here is Petrucci. Petrucci has really impressed me tonight, the way she's been playing for Bloomfield Hills. Saved by Briggs to McCauley to Briggs, and not enough power in that one. It's 18-15 Bloomfield Hills. It's like when Lake Orion tries to get a run in, Bloomfield Hills always has the answer. 18-15 in favor of the Blackhawks. Petrucci serving. Saved by Bell to McCauley. McCauley to Grogi, and she gets that one to go. And it's 18-16 in favor of Bloomfield Hills. Riley Hunter now back in for Lake Orion. Here is Paige Briggs serving for the Dragons. Briggs now gets it to Sozinski. Sozinski looking to Rousseau, and she hits that one out. And it's a 1-point game, 18-17 in favor of the Blackhawks. Briggs now serving again now for Bloomfield Hills. And she's going to get an ace out of it. I got great effort there by Noelsa trying to get that one. But Briggs gets the ace. It's an 18-18 game. 18-18 right now. Briggs serving. Save there. Here comes looking for Rousseau. And Rousseau saved there by Gruppenhoff looking for Hunter. And Riley Hunter gets that one to go. Riley Hunter gives the Dragons the lead, 19-18. And timeout taken by the Blackhawks, and Coach Larry Wyatt wants to talk it over. Sports replays. Be sure to tune in to replays of your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 1 p.m. for most current games in our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check out our program guide on our webpage at orionontv.org for replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. Also visit our YouTube link for games on demand at www.orionontv.org. Bloomfield Hills is, I thought personally, has really been in control of this game, but Lake Orion has managed to get back into it with hard work. And right now Lake Orion leads 19-18. Briggs now serving for the Dragons. Winner now to Sosinski. Sosinski to Rousseau. Saved there by Gruppenhoff. Here is Grolke and Reagan Grolke. She has come to play tonight. 2018 in favor of Lake Orion. Briggs now serving for the Dragons now. Briggs now looking. Here's Sosinski. Sosinski to Bosart, and Bosart hits it out. And it's 21-18 in favor of Lake Orion. The Dragons right now are up 21-18. Here is Briggs, and Briggs gets the point. 22-18. And Briggs right now in control right now. Dragons up 4 right now. Briggs gets an ace. And Paige Briggs. It's a 23-18 game. And Larry Wyatt wants to take another timeout. It is 23-18 in favor of Lake Orion. When you look at other games across the area, as mentioned, of course, Lake Orion's next opponent will be on Thursday against Clarkston. They are playing Stony Creek tonight, and according to my updated sources, they are down 2-0 right now. The Clarkston Wolves, we know, very good team. Of course, Kelly Averill-Pinner's done a really nice job with that team. That is going to be Lake Orion's next opponent, and then they play Stony Creek next Tuesday here in the field house. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be 2 tough games for Lake Orion going forward. Briggs now serving for the Dragons now. Briggs serving, and there's going to be an ace for Paige Briggs. And it's game point for the Dragons. It's going to be game point here for Lake Orion, up 24-18. And Briggs saved there by the Blackhawks. Here comes Rousseau. Saved by Briggs to McCauley. McCauley to Gerwin, no. Here comes Sillick. Sillick now back to Bosart. Saved by Bell to McCauley. McCauley. And it is a double hit. And Bloomfield Hills gets the point, and it's 24-19 in favor of the Dragons with Alexa Rousseau serving. Saved by Bell there. Bell looking for Gruppenhoff, and Gruppenhoff gets that one to go, and Lake Orion wins in 3 games. The Dragons win in 3 games and keep pace with the winner of tonight's match between Clarkston and Stony Creek. So Lake Orion will play Clarkston on Thursday. They will play Stony Creek here at the field house next Tuesday. So this is Sammy Termina here, signing on off here. Take care. God bless all.